This is Jane Douglas at the GameSpot stage at E3 2011. We're here with Alex Amantio, like I already mentioned, here to talk about Assassin's Creed Revelations. Alex, thanks again for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, so that went much better. So, okay, give us first of all just an overview on the plot. You left it kind of in a tangle at the end of Brotherhood.
Yes.
How are you going to sort that one out?
Well, you know, the end of Brotherhood, Desmond is sort of left in a coma. They plug him back into the Animus to sort of like stabilize his consciousness, stop him from like falling deeper into a coma. But he's so weak that he falls right through what we call the White Room, right? The Animus loading program, into what we call the Black Room, which is sort of a DOS or a safe mode. Much more powerful, but not designed for a user. And so this place is sort of the physicality of it is like populated by bits and pieces of his sort of like a fragmented mind and his subconscious. So he needs to sort of find his way through this weird landscape and find entry points into memories of Ezio.
Okay, so you're going to be playing as Desmond, you're also going to be playing as Ezio, and playing as Altair as well, I understand. Okay, so all three characters, and you're going to be moving between one with the Animus, but how does Ezio, we understand, plays as Altair?
Yeah, it's actually Ezio that's playing Altair. So the idea behind the Ezio story is that he sort of like, he goes on this pilgrimage to Masyaf to find out more about the Order of the Assassins. Upon reaching Masyaf, he finds it overrun with Templars. Essentially, there's more than simple information about the Assassins. There's like some deep secret hidden under Masyaf. So what happens is like the Templars are obviously trying to get through this sort of like sealed vault. There's 5 keys that are needed to open it. They already have one. So he races to Constantinople to sort of like try to find the 4 keys that are still missing before the Templars. And he also needs to sort of like be immersed in this sort of political intrigue and try to figure out who the Templar is behind everything, so that he can get that key that the Templars already have. In parallel, like the thing is, these keys are actually first civilization artifacts, and every time Ezio gets one of them, they are actually imprinted with memories from Altair. So you actually get to live key moments of Altair's life through Ezio.
Okay, so that's Ezio's equivalent of the Animus. Right.
Exactly.
You touched on the locations there. So Constantinople, that's the big location.
Yeah.
What kind of scale are we looking at with that city?
So what kind of?
What kind of scale? How big is the city?
It's about, in terms of actual surface, it's a bit smaller than Rome, but Rome is mostly, there's a lot of empty space. Constantinople is extremely dense, there's a lot of buildings. So there are more buildings, it's a denser city, more populated city. It's a really cool maze to play in. Plus that city is actually about 85% slopes. So it really changes the way that you play the game in the city and you navigate through the city. Okay,
and in terms of look and feel, it's probably going to feel a little more exotic to players?
Yeah, Constantinople was considered the crossroads of the world. It was really the bridge between Europe and sort of Asia, which is a cool metaphor for, you know, like the destinies of Ezio and Altair meeting. But it is very exotic. It's really a bustling cultural city filled with contrasting cultures, contrasting sort of people, contrasting architecture. Okay, you mentioned Masyaf, that's another location in the game. We've also heard about the underground city, it's Cappadocia. What can you tell us about that? So yeah, Cappadocia is sort of, it's based on a real city. I think it sheltered about 10,000 people for a little over 100 years. Some sort of Byzantine rebels stayed there for, like, as I said, over 100 years. So Ezio actually infiltrates the city. It's a Templar city. Unlike Rome, who was, a city that was sort of overrun by the Templars, this is actually a Templar stronghold. So Ezio has to sort of go into the city incognito. Okay, all right. Well, we know you've got a demo for us. We'll jump into the single-player demo in just a minute, I think. But first of all, set us up. We're looking at it now, actually. The zip lining and the hook blades. Yeah, we just saw the hook blade. As you can see, it really offers some really new, cool finishing moves. It also allows the player to soar over the city with zip lines. Well, obviously, what we're seeing here is more of the combat elements. What you're seeing there is one of the assassins. The assassins of Constantinople, like the Constantinople assassins, are your allies. You can call upon them, but there's also a leader of the assassins in Constantinople called Yusuf. You can also send him over to sort of help you on missions. What we're about to see here is called Greek fire. It's an actual weapon that really existed at the time. It was used by the Byzantines to sort of keep the harbors of Constantinople safe. Okay. Ezio will use it now to sort of get rid of this blockading Ottoman fleet.
Neat. Okay, so it's like a mounted flamethrower.
Yeah, the way it worked is it's sort of heated oil, and it was just like, shot from this sort of cannon, and it just like, it wreaked havoc on any fleet.
Okay. Have we got anything else in line with like Da Vinci's inventions from the previous game?
Some, you mean parallel stuff?
Yeah, like the kind of war machines we saw in Brotherhood.
This is one of the examples of an exotic gameplay sequence that we have in the game, where we add like these new exotic elements to the game. Unlike in previous installments, we sort of wrap them with the narrative cover, which means that instead of just being like mini games with exotic sequences, they're more actual narrative experiences that use these exotic mechanics as a basis.
Okay, right, great. So now we're seeing a little more platforming and free running.
Yeah, like you can remember from Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, we had these more linear sequences. It's a good change of pace from the open world. We kept it, but we added a whole layer of very meaningful, powerful realization on top, because we really wanted to focus on production value and really bridging the narrative together with the open world systems.
Okay, all right. And you mentioned actually, when I spoke to you before, more meaningful narrative, but that doesn't mean you're stripping out the kind of property management and assassin team management that we had in Brotherhood. Is that right?
Yeah, no, not at all. We're actually building on top of that.
Okay.
What we're doing a bit different is that we're really trying to link all of those systems, not only into the low-level mechanics of the game, but to the mid-level sort of like open world city mechanics, but also to the narrative. So if we link all those systems together with all of the sort of the different levels of the game systems, it really becomes something else than just a series of systems. It becomes a sort of a core experience.
Okay, neat. We know as well as the new hook blade, there's a bomb crafting system.
Yeah.
Tell us some about that.
The bomb crafting system is based on an economy of ingredients. So you can just explore the world, you can find all of these contextual ingredients. So they're not going to be randomly spawned as you kill enemies. If you want to find gunpowder, go into the arsenal, steal gunpowder from a barrel, etc. And then when you combine these different elements, all of the combinations actually yield a good result. They yield a different bomb. The question is not whether your combination is good or not, but whether the bomb you create is really fits and encourages your type of play. We really plugged all of these bombs into the many different systems of the game, so it really allows you to sort of like take the Assassin's Creed experience and really craft it or mold it to your own playstyle, be it aggressive or be it stealth or be it like sort of more strategic. You can really play the assassin that you want to play.
Okay, so that means you've got smoke bombs, I guess, grenades. What kind of bombs can you craft?
We have chase breakers. If you're being chased by guards, you can just pop a chase breaker. They spread like these nails across the sort of the street. It will stop guards dead on their tracks. We even have bombs you can craft that are tripwire bombs. For example, you kill a guard, you see sort of a huge crowd of guards coming.
Yeah.
You kill a guard, you just place a tripwire bomb on him. When the guards see him, they will come to investigate. They set off the bomb. Boom! You've just set a booby trap. So this really lets the player, revamp the sort of the fantasy of playing as an assassin, and lets him just be the type of assassin he wants to be: aggressive, stealthy, tactical, whatever.
All right, sounds good. And you've also tweaked Eagle Vision up a bit, as we understand it.
This has to do with Ezio being sort of older and wiser. Eagle Vision has become Eagle Sense. Eagle Sense is now that Ezio is wiser, he not only uses his eyes, but he uses his instinct, his ears, and so a lot of stuff has been added through Eagle Vision. And the reason we did this is we can give you all these new systems to interact with the game, but we need to provide a system for you to be able to read that game. So Eagle Sense is that. You can sort of go up on a roof, pop on Eagle Sense, and then just see the path left by a guard, follow the tracks up to a group of people, and just find the bad guy in that group of people, stuff like that.
Okay, you mentioned Ezio's older. Tell us again, how old is he in this game?
He's in his early 50s.
All right, okay, because he's kind of looking a bit grey now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's hard as nails.
Right, as much as ever.
Yeah,
okay, all right.
exactly.
Well, let's take it to the users' questions. We have something from Cliffy T in North Carolina who says, we already know about the hook blade, and we talked about the hook blade. Are there any other new weapons or gadgets? What can you tell us about those?
Well, we do have the same variety of weapons that we had in AC2 and Brotherhood. So you will be able to purchase many weapons, with Ottoman flavor, Byzantine swords and Ottoman swords or spears. You'll be able to upgrade Ezio's costume with unique costumes from the game. all of the bombs. We have dozens and dozens of different bombs. But you'll also have a new mechanic. It's not a weapon, but it can almost be a weapon. We've really sort of taken the Brotherhood to a next level. We have something called the Assassin's Dens. This sort of consolidates the Borgia Towers, it consolidates the city improvement, and all of those different systems into one mega system. And it even adds a new interaction you can have with your assassins within the city.
Okay, explain that.
We're not going to talk about it right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But that's it for
very
now.
Soon.
All right, soon. Okay. Well, we'll go on to another user question. But first of all, I know it's not exactly your area, and we're not here to talk about the multiplayer so much. But what can you tell us about the multiplayer?
First of all, multiplayer. We've addressed the issues that the community had, like stuff like player matching. So all of that stuff we're working on to fix and to just tighten it as much as possible. We've added new game modes. We've added new locations. We've added new players, new characters, and character customization. We're also adding a narrative layer to multiplayer. Narrative is something that is very important to the Assassin's Creed fans, and since you're playing Templars in the multiplayer, we found it's a really good opportunity to just sort of add a narrative layer and let the players know a little bit more about what's going on with Abstergo, the Templar link, and all that stuff.
Okay, I think people will be pretty pleased to know. I was playing the multiplayer demo here on the show floor, and you fixed the stun mechanic. The stun mechanic, by which you can counter assassinations.
Oh yeah,
right?
All of that stuff, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and that was based on player feedback, right?
Again, player feedback, but not only for multiplayer, but even for single. We really make it a point to sort of do a lot of playtesting and do a lot of feedback from the community to keep improving the games. Every iteration is sort of an improvement on the past one, plus new surprises.
Okay, so what were the most interesting lessons learned from Brotherhood then?
From Brotherhood, we've learned, we're noticing that as the game is becoming, bigger and bigger with more systems, they're starting to become very big on the horizontal. So what we're doing with the Revelations is, while adding new systems, we're trying to consolidate everything to sort of reinforce the core Assassin's Creed experience. Plus, we're really working very hard to sort of bridge and merge the narrative more deeply into the actual mechanics. You know how when you go on a concert and you listen to a really good pianist play,
okay,
and if you somehow notice that what he's playing is very complicated, it's because he hasn't totally nailed it, because you should be paying attention to the music. Same thing. We're working very hard to blend the systems into the whole narrative, into the whole experience, so that the gameplay actually becomes an experience rather than just a series of different systems that we're adding on.
Okay, so you're looking for a more coherent kind of experience, less of a kind of bitty PC thing.
Exactly. As much depth, but more, more of a sort of a core experience.
All right. Okay. Neat. All right. Let's take it to another user question. Daniel from Canada says, will you be able to send assassins on missions, and will the assassins have a bigger role in the game? So he means your team of assassins.
They will. The Assassin's Dens, I touched on it very briefly. Sure. They are a new element that we're adding, a new interaction with the assassins. Also, you might remember from Brotherhood, you could send your assassins over, across the Mediterranean to sort of complete missions. You had sort of a chance of success. We're actually adding more depth to that gameplay and really adding something new across the Mediterranean. Okay,
is that depth something you can talk to us about yet?
Again, that's something that links in with the Assassin's Dens, and we have to keep some secrets.
All right, okay. Well, when are we going to hear about them?
Very soon.
Oh, very soon. Okay, all right. Another question from our readers. How about any new additions to the search for glyphs and solving them?
Yes, we actually do have a lot of new mystery stuff that's incorporated into the game. We are obviously continuing on the stuff that we've already done, but we're adding a couple of surprises there. Some of the stuff that we're adding is actually linked to the whole Desmond experience. So I'm not going to go too deeply into that, but yes, there will be a lot of answers. The game isn't called Revelations for nothing. Not only are we going to reveal a lot of stuff about, the Ezio plotline, but a lot of that glyph stuff, First Civilization stuff, and,
Okay, yeah, the Desmond stuff that we saw a little bit of in Brotherhood, for example.
Exactly.
All right, I think some of us will have seen the Desmond story trailer, where we see the kind of operating system, I think is how you described it, sort of the behind-the-scenes stuff in the Animus, where he ends up. Can you tell us anything about the gameplay in that segment?
What I can tell you is it's all about this place being populated by sort of like abstract fragments from Desmond's subconscious, and he needs to sort of learn to manipulate the animus to be able to sort of get to these entry gateways that will lead him to Ezio memories. So it's all about like making heads and tails of like the animus and trying to sort of like navigate through this strange environment, solving these challenges as you progress.
We're just getting a little announcement that the show is now closed, in fact. But we'll keep running a little while. I'm not getting anything in my ear that we have to shut down. So you said previously that Assassin's Creed Revelations is the end of a trilogy. So that's if we discount Assassin's Creed 1. How do you see the trilogy ending? Like, is this an end for Desmond, or Ezio, or Altair, or all three?
Essentially, the Assassin's Creed universe is extremely rich. It's based on a lot of like not only historical periods but historical like sort of locations. There's many stories within the Assassin's Creed universe. Our focus is the close of the Ezio trilogy, but while closing the Ezio trilogy, we're not only are we sort of closing the Ezio narrative and answering a lot of the questions that have been started off in AC2 and Brotherhood, we're also closing Altair and sort of explaining why and exactly how Altair, Ezio, and Desmond, they all fit into this sort of like nexus that will sort of like make all the pieces fit together. The Desmond narrative loop is something else. As you know, like the overarching Desmond story is all about something that happens in 2012, the end of the world. So obviously we're getting very close to that in real time,
right?
Which is why Revelations is all about sort of setting all the records straight for what's happened and really preparing the way for what's to come.
Okay, and what is to come?
The next Assassin's Creed.
Okay, but you see Desmond as having a role in Assassin's Creed going forward. This isn't the end for him, even if it is.
No. This is the end for Ezio, for Altair, and it's also really setting up everything for what's to come. And obviously, it's going to center a lot around Desmond. All
right, Alex. Well, we can't wait to hear more about all of that, especially the Assassin's Dens. I'm just being told we're ready to wrap things up. So. That's it for day 2 here at the GameSpot live stage. Thanks for joining us. I've been Jane Douglas for GameSpot. You can join us later in the evening for a special live tonight on the spot from Sonic's birthday party, which is also taking place here in downtown Los Angeles. And then, of course, you can join us tomorrow morning for more from the show, bright and early from 10 a.m. So be there for more from E3 2011.